I have a question here is from Eddie. What should you focus on while working on systems? By the way, thank you for asking the question, Eddie. And by all means, if anyone else has any questions on business, feel free to put them on the comments and I will certainly answer them. So, what should you focus on when you're working on systems? Number one, you must focus on efficiency of the processes. So, when you're talking about systems, you're talking about processes. And you must first focus is on efficiency, because what happens is a lot of times businesses, as they grow, they put more steps in it, or as there are things that happen to the processes, they will solve them by putting additional steps. But even though those processes are growing, as the business grows, no one is looking at efficiency. So number one is efficiency. Number two, what you want to do next is to look at your key outputs. So every process has key outputs that are critical to the business, otherwise you wouldn't have that process. So therefore you want to look at that, and you want to see what those key processes are in terms of metrics or KPIs. Now, while you're doing that and you're making the process efficient, looking at your key performance indicators, you should also be documenting. Processes must be documented, and they should not be just verbal, and for many reasons. Obviously, training, making sure that when people leave, that people can actually look at the processes and understand them very quickly, for efficiency purposes, speed, cost, all of these things and a lot more. So you want to be able to document your processes, because as we say in our industry, if it's not documented, it's a rumor. Now the next thing is you want to be looking at a dashboard. So you want all of these processes to be converging at one main dashboard. Now you should have departmental dashboards as well as division or business dashboards. So you should have ideally at least 3 layers of dashboards depending on how large your organization is. So all of this creates the system that enables anyone, especially the business owner, to operate the business efficiently. So why do we have all of this in place? Like, what are the benefits? I think that's the most important part. One of the greatest benefit to having systems in place is that the business owner doesn't have to be as engaged in the business day-to-day activities as he otherwise or she otherwise would be. So that's a great benefit. So that means that because you can operate your business from anywhere, because if everything is set in place so that it can operate it that way with business systems, then you also have a business that is worth a lot more, because most businesses are owner operated and they don't have any systems in place, which means that when they're even sold, they're sold at a liquidation price of the assets, and those assets actually have to be sold at a discount as well. So when you're putting systems in place, you're now able to sell that business at a much higher multiple, sometimes up to 5 times your revenues multiple. So it's definitely well worth it. And also for the other reason too, if the owner gets sick, so what happens to that business? With systems in place and making sure that the business can actually operate with the owner, even if he's hospitalized or she's hospitalized for a month or two, I think that's a great benefit for the business, because otherwise everyone in the business suffers. Employees, customers, everything can go downhill, and the business reputation and market share will also go down. So there's many benefits. I'm just touching on very few, but there's many benefits for why systems should be done in every single business. Hope you like this kind of content, and if you do, please follow me. Otherwise, see you tomorrow.